Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now today's gonna be a quick video. So I'm sitting back, I'm minding my business, right? I'm looking through the news, and then I see that Algeria had shot a military drone of the AES Air Force. They done shot one of our drones out the sky, bro. That's what we're gonna be talking about in today's video. Now, the drone that was shot out of the sky is actually a recent arrival, right? They just got that drone, bro. We just, crushed the terrorists with that drone back in December. Remember when they killed like 8 terrorist leaders in like a single attack? That was because of that drone. And the Algerians, they done shot it out the sky, bro. Now, this recent event is simply another chapter in a long series of tensions between the two governments as of recently. The government in Algeria does not get along with the military government in Mali, right? Tensions have been simmering between the two nations for a couple years now. As you know, of course, they've walked away from their traditional Western partners, but also they've walked away from some traditional regional partners as well, including Algeria. Similar to how they terminated a bunch of agreements with France, they also terminated agreements with Algeria. Now, when it comes to Algeria, I've already done videos in the past. I've already labeled Algeria as a hostile neighbor. Algeria is a hostile neighbor. They operate in a duplicitous manner. They shake your hand, then they turn around and go shake the hands with the terrorists and the rebels. See, I don't rock with that, right? Very duplicitous, hostile neighbor, and it is what it is. Now, in the north of Mali, you have one of these separatist groups, one of these rebel groups, these terrorist groups trying to carve out a piece of land for themselves, trying to establish their own sovereign state for themselves, right? Now, in order to do that, you have to fight a war against the central government. So that's what they've been doing. So in comes Algeria. Due to the fact that these so-called rebels, these terrorists, they've been going back and forth over the border into Algeria, back into northern Mali. When they get smashed by the government, they run over the border, then they come back and, launch another attack. Obviously, the only way they're able to do this is because they're doing it under the nose, under the supervision of the Algerian government, of the Algerian law enforcement, of the Algerian intelligence, right? That's the only way they're able to do this. And that's essentially one of the many sources of tensions between the two governments at the moment. Now, before we get into it, before we jump into these articles, you already know, album out now, album available everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify. Go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, my playlist section, Sahel 1816. Enjoy yourself, man. Now, let's get back into it. Take a look up on the screen. In December 2023, Mali recalled its ambassador to Algeria, accusing him of interfering in its internal affairs by meeting with rebel leaders, thus intensifying diplomatic tensions over efforts to end separatist and Islamist insurgencies in northern Mali. So back in December 2023, right, like a year and a half ago, Mali recalled their ambassador in Algeria. Now, when a nation recalls their ambassador, that's basically like cutting off the line of communication, right? Basically like, I'm blocking you right now. I'm blocking your number. We ain't talking right now. I ain't rocking with you right now. Don't even hit me up, bro. Don't even hit my line, man. Don't even hit my line. It's like one step before actually cutting off diplomatic relations. The door is still open, but obviously there's tension between the two camps. That's basically what it means in situations like these where a nation recalls their ambassador. And I believe one of the main reasons why Mali recalled their ambassador was that they accused Algerian politicians, certain influential and powerful men in Algerian society, of actually meeting and hosting with these, so-called rebel leaders, these so-called terrorists, right? And obviously, if you claim to be a friendly neighbor, you can't go behind my back and then shake hands and taking pictures with the same individuals that I'm fighting against. That don't make no sense. Now, let's go back into the timeline. Take a look up on the screen, right? This headline was like months ago. Mali accuses Algeria of fueling Sahel insecurity by supporting the Tuareg rebels. Now, disclaimer, when I talk about the so-called Tuareg rebels, I'm not putting the terrorist label on the entire ethnic group. I'm not attaching that label to the entire tribe. Nah, it's simply a segment of that community that happens to be active in northern Mali. We're only talking about them. We're not talking about the entire Tuareg ethnic group. We ain't doing that, right? When it comes to the Tuaregs, you have some Tuaregs that live in different countries. You have some that are actually serving in the government. You have some that are in the military fighting for the territorial integrity of the nation. So the Tuareg, it's a variety, right? Like all people. So we're not attaching a terrorist label to the whole Tuareg. I just want to, put that out there first. Now let's continue. Back in December, right? You remember I did a video on that. Back in December, take a look up on the screen. Drone strikes by Mali's military regime kills 8 Tuareg leaders in the country's north. Now, if you remember, I did a video on that. Classic video, right? Them AES drones came through, smoked them terrorist leaders, right? Now, the Algerian military, they claim that, they violated our airspace, so we shot the drone out the sky. Now, if you ask me, I just think this is get back, right? This is simply, like I said, if you notice, this is how you know that Algeria is a hostile neighbor. Whenever Mali gets like a military victory, like a crazy victory, I noticed that the Algerian government gets upset. I even did a video on that one time too, right? After that major drone strike against the terrorists, there was like a politician that came up. I did a video. I reacted to it. He started talking about, oh man, rest in peace to the fallen soldiers. Rest in peace to the martyrs. I'm like, what you mean rest in peace to the martyrs? Them terrorists, bro. What do you mean, right? But that exposed their hand, right? Algeria is a hostile neighbor. Now they shooting drones out the sky. Listen, it's simply been exposed. They already knew. That's why they recalled the ambassador. But now it's been confirmed. But anyways, let's jump into these articles. Take a look up on the screen. Algeria said Tuesday that it shot down a military drone near the country's border with Mali in the first incident of its kind during growing tensions between the two countries governing a vast portion of the Sahara. The country's army said in a statement that the armed reconnaissance drone had entered Algerian airspace on Monday near Tinzouatin, a border town and a stronghold for the Tuareg separatists opposed to Mali's government. I repeat, a border town and a stronghold for the Tuareg terrorists, not the separatists. You see, the Western media, see what they mean? They're really trying to like paint the image as if these guys is like some honorable gentlemen. No, these are terrorists. Why they stop using the terrorist label? The Tuareg terrorists opposed to the Malian government. Now, to me, when it comes to Algeria, the situation doesn't look good, right? Okay, you claim that they violated the airspace. That's pretty much that's the standard response to shooting any aircraft out the sky. Oh, you violated my airspace. But to me, it sounds like the Malian drone was simply doing surveillance over what they said was a stronghold for the terrorists, right? So if they were doing surveillance it's a border region, so we're doing surveillance, we're conducting surveillance against the terrorists, and then you shoot our drone out the sky as we're conducting surveillance. I mean, goddamn, bro, it don't look good. It does not look good. Anyway, let's continue. Mali's army acknowledged that one of its drones had crashed in the area, but did not confirm whether it was shot down by Algeria. Algeria once served as a key mediator during more than a decade of conflict between Mali's government and Tuareg rebels, but the two countries have grown apart since a military government staged coups in 2020 and 2021, putting military personnel in charge of the country's key institutions. The Algerian Ministry of Defense says that an armed drone that had flew 2 kilometers into Algerian airspace has been shot down last night. The drone is most likely an Akinci drone of the Malian Air Force, which was active in the Tinzouatin area. Now, I know they have more than one drone, more than one military aircraft as well, but that's still an economic loss because I'm pretty sure those things go for millions of dollars. So that right there, millions of dollars on military spending down the toilet. Now, thank God, like I said, they came up on a windfall of cash in the mining sector as of recently, right? Over $1 billion, but still, that's still an economic loss. Not only is it an economic loss, but from a diplomatic level, it's a high level of disrespect, right? It's already a level of disrespect to be openly collaborating with the rebels in the north, but now to be openly attacking my military aircrafts as I'm conducting surveillance and reconnaissance, that's a high level of disrespect. And who benefits from that, right? If you claim to be my partner, my friendly neighbor, helping me fight terrorism, why would you shoot my aircrafts out the sky knowing that I am here to fight terrorism? I'm not here to attack you, right? I'm here to conduct surveillance of my territory. We have these porous borders. We have these terrorists moving in and out the border. So I have to keep an eye on the border. If I'm keeping an eye on the border, why are you shooting my aircrafts out the sky, bro? Like I said, man, Algeria is a hostile neighbor. It is what it is. That's just a fact of the matter. It's definitely an adversary of the AES. Algeria is obviously working in collaboration with the terrorists because as Mali begins to take back territory and launch successful operations against the terrorists and gradually build momentum, when you shoot my aircraft out the sky, that's a blow to my momentum, bro. You slowing down my momentum, and you claim to be against terrorism. You claim to be here to bring stability to the region, but you are simply encouraging and enabling instability in the region, right? Because you're a hostile neighbor. Right? You're a hostile neighbor. You're really a foreign invader, and you really ain't even from here, bro. You're really from the Arabian Peninsula. But that's a conversation for another day, right? Now, if I'm the Minister of Finance in Mali, if I'm the Minister of Defense, right? If I'm Sadio Kamara, the Minister of Defense, I'm tight. I'm angry, right? I'm furious right now, right? To me, I'm in the office going off right now, right? Not only because of the money, not only because of the loss, but it's already bad enough to be going against adversaries overseas, right? Our Western adversaries. It's already bad enough we have local adversaries on the ground, these so-called terrorist groups. Now we have our neighbors also preying on our downfall. I mean, goddamn, man. The black man got so much on his plate, it's ridiculous. The black man got so much on his plate, it's ridiculous. The black man got adversaries west, east, north, and south. Now, when it comes to that little area in northern Mali, Algeria, they want that piece of land, right? They don't really want that area to be stabilized, right? Because if the government in Mali, if the central government begins to reestablish full authority over that territory, where are all the terrorists going to go? Logically, right? They're going to run over the border, right? All the terrorists are going to run over the border and pile into Algeria. There's already a Tuareg population in Algeria already, right? So what do you think is going to happen if you push all the terrorists into Algeria? They're going to start launching insurgencies in southern Algeria. So if you ask me, that's part of the reason why the Algerian central government enables these guys to kind of keep them in that little area over there, keep them contained in that little area, because the only other option is they're going to be refugees in southern Algeria. And next thing you know, they're going to be launching insurgencies inside of Algeria, carving out territory for themselves inside of Algeria. That's why they don't want that region to ever be stabilized. That's why they're actively working against the AES. They're actively working against the government in Mali, right? When they really should be working together if they were really a friendly neighbor, as they claim. But as you can see, they're actively working against these guys, right? When you kill the terrorist leaders, why are the Algerian politicians saying rest in peace to the martyrs? That don't make no goddamn sense. You're supposed to be celebrating along with me, right? But as you can see, you're the enemy. That's why you're crying, because you're really the enemy. And of course, besides the potential refugee crisis and the potential insurgency in southern Algeria that could be caused behind that, Algeria is also 100% interested in the natural resources in northern Mali. If the central government in Mali begins to reestablish full authority over that region, how is the Algerian government going to be able to smuggle, the gold and all the various natural resources and minerals in northern Mali? And keep in mind, remember what I told you, billions of dollars of gold get smuggled out of the continent every year. And it mainly heads over to the Middle East. And Mali is one of them hot spots where the gold is smuggled through, right? All them little terrorist groups a source of their revenue is mineral trafficking. All them little armed groups all over the continent, a big source of their revenue is trafficking minerals. And usually the minerals end up usually in the Middle East or in the Western economies. That's really where it goes, man. It's going to be in some central, some gold vault or some sheikh in the goddamn Middle East, or it's going to the West. That's where it's going. And that's how these guys make their money. That's a big way. That's a big source of why these guys make their money. Also human trafficking, drug trafficking, narco trafficking. These guys is in all types of different traffickings, all these armed groups across the continent. These guys should be driving a taxi or delivering food or something, make an honest living, but they don't want to make an honest living. They want to engage in criminality. That's fine. As a result of that, we now have to eliminate you. I'm sorry. We have to launch the drones and the missiles, and we have to eliminate you and neutralize you. That's simply the law of the jungle. Now, I'm not here to give advice on how the government in Mali should respond to this attack, but I'm pretty sure you guys already discussed this behind closed doors. So, like I said, you got to make sure them boys know it's us that got dominion in northern Mali, right? It's not them. It's us, never them. So like I said, bro, do what you got to do. Make sure them boys don't play with you. I know they said you violated the airspace. I don't believe it. I think them boys lying. I think they BSing, to be honest. I think they lying, right? I don't believe nothing what they saying. So like I said, do what you got to do. Make sure they know that it's us that has military dominion in that territory, right? It's cool. Like I said, man, secure your border, secure your territory. Do what you got to do. Much love, salute. Anyways, it's your boy Never Card. That's the lane back in the Billy. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel. Album out now when I'm gone. Peace.
Took all my losses and now I got racks. Took all my losses and made that shit back. Plan to make gold, I need plenty of plaques. Making my enemies empty the stash. Feel like a me, I feel like Chiani. African gold is all over my body. African diamonds adorning my fingers. African kid when you look at my features. Enemy watching, I gotta get paid. Enemy watching and stalking my page. Watching my moves and they study my ways. Copy my energy, riding my wave. Enemy watching me like an obsession. Heart of a king, I don't need no acceptance. No, they gon' try but can't stop the progression. No, they gon' try but can't stop the ascension. Foot on the gas and I gotta go hard. Straight to the top, I've been down for too long. Plotting revenge, I'ma make them regret it. Ain't no more talking, I got too much leverage. Talking uranium, diamonds and gold. Keep that shit real, I wish death on my foes. Keep that shit real, I ain't blocking my blessings. Stacking my profit and then I invest it. Feeling untouchable, energy sacred. When I pull up, know my enemies hate. Setting up shop at a secret location. Chopper gon' sound like a standing ovation. Moving in silence, I never been regular. One of a kind, I ain't got no competitors. Son of a king, I'm the kingdom inheritor. Do what I want, I don't care what you telling. The state of myself, me and my team. Walking the spot, but they knowing my name. Beautiful passage passenger, bet she gon' ride. Keep it authentic, I'm never gon' change. Always been solid, I'm built to survive. Gotta stay focused, I'm deep in the game. Never surrender, I got too much pride. Took all my losses and stayed in my lane.